It's pretty solid. Let's see. Alright, that should be good enough for now. Hey, it's me, your local Raizoni. Alas, we continue with Chaos Ed. I know I've been gone for like maybe 2 weeks or something. I have other shit on my plate right now, like school. That's a pain. I love it. But anyway, I'm back and we're gonna do some more Chaos Ed. And as far as I know, just need to make sure everything's alright, because it's been a while. Alright. Just making sure everything's okay. Alright, we're good. So let's just get this party started and let's just load our game. Last time, if I recall, we met my favorite wife, Yua. And from there, we planned to meet up with her and hang out with her to buy her a Figma. Or eroge figure, whichever you want to call it. Ever being that sporadic about it. Anyway, let's do this. We'll be doing this for maybe a good hour or two, depending on how I feel. But yeah, let's do this.
Oh, 時間か。今のところテストに出るからな。ちゃんとノート書いておけよ。今日はここまで。起立。礼。
Once the math teacher, what was his name again? Not like it mattered, left the classroom. Today's classes finally reached their end. Everyone chattered about where they planned to go next, while the students in the club gathered with their fellow club members and headed off to different rooms. There were also a lot of people preparing to head straight home. As soon as the closing bell rang, I too usually got myself together for going home. But today I fretted my seat, making an effort not to meet my classmates' gazes, whatever. After this came my promise with Yua. Ordinarily, it'd be ultra exciting to be waiting to head out somewhere with a girl. But right now, it's nothing but melancholy. I couldn't calm down. My stomach ached. It's the first time I promised to meet with a girl, so I had no clue how to handle myself. In the first place, was Yua really coming? I started to think that maybe yesterday had been one big prank, and as I waited here, she was waiting from shadows and giggling. To a certain sense, that might be better if she really came. In fact, there was no need to wait for her so faithfully. Wouldn't it be fine if I forgot all about her and left? Alrighty, time to go home. Whatever the case, we were in different grades, and if I stood her up today, we'd probably never meet again for the rest of our lives. Decision made. I stood up.
たく、何してんだ?
Someone pounded me on the back. I didn't have to see his face to know whose doing it was. Mizumi-kun was the only person in the class curious enough to call out to me.
お前帰らないのか? いつもならチャイムが鳴ると同時に消えるのによ。俺密かに匠の音速直帰って名付けてたんだぜ。もう帰るよ。誰か待ってるとか。え?
How'd he know?
なんだよ、図星かよ。
どうして？
なんだかやけにそわそわしてたからな。教室の入り口をさっきから何度も気にしてるし。
He's sharp, but it'd be better not to say anything. Gary was here. You mustn't forget Takumi. At this school, you gotta stand out as little as possible. Gotta be like the air.
別に誰も待ってないよ。
そうか？だったら今の間はなんだよ。
それは。
Shit, Mizumi-kun wasn't a bad guy, but he could really get obnoxious at times like this. We're underrated between the lines.
西条くん
Oh, wife. I twitched. Looking gingerly in the direction Yua's voice had come from, I saw her standing timidly at the entrance of her classroom. What a mess. It was Mizumi-kun's fault that I lost my chance to escape.
おい、なんだりゃ。どういうことだ？
Unusually for him, Mizumi-kun seemed shaken. Throwing an arm around my shoulder, he looked at me steadily.
おい、タク、どういうことか説明しろよ。お前の彼女か？
違うよ。
I told Mizumi-kun a million times I had no interest in the dirt dimension.
だったら何なんだよ。言っとくが、タクの姉ちゃんとかそういうオチは期待してねえからな。引きこもりのくせに何をどうやったらあんないい女と知り合えるんだ。
昨日急に付きまとわれて。
そりゃつまりあれか？逆難されたってことか？え？この
He grabbed me by the jaw until I started to wobble. With that, Mizumi-kun finally released me.
そうか。世の中には物好きってのもいるんだな。けどタクがまともな性癖を持ってたみたいで少し安心したぜ。
性癖って。それに彼女とは別に何も。
そうかそうか。頑張れよ、タク。
Mizumi-kun wasn't listening to me. Getting single-handedly worked up about it, he thumped me on the back even more fiercely than before. He was definitely teasing me.
安心しろって。お前の女を寝取ったりしねえから。
Better not. It's fucking Yoa, dude.
だからそういう関係じゃ。
ほら、さっさと行けよ。彼女、お待ちかねみたいだぜ。
As Mizumi-kun drove me away, I stumbled up to Yua. In the end, I hadn't been able to run away.
迎えに来たの迷惑でした？
Wife?
いや。
It caused me a ton of trouble. When I took a look back at Mizumi-kun, he grinned and stuck his middle finger up at me. I had a hard time telling whether he was picking a fight with me or trying to encourage me. It'd be aggravating to keep dealing with him. I'd better get out of the school post haste.
すいません、昨日会ったばかりなのにこんなお願いをしてしまって。
いや。
Come on, Takumi. Stop being a goddamn hikikomori for once. Just speak normally. So nervous. Going home from school together with a 3D girl? That's almost made me sound like I had a life. I thought that kind of thing belonged in a world with no relation with me. I never dreamed of being able to experience it. At the moment, I was coming under silent pressure from Yua. How could I be so nervous when all we were doing was walking side by side? And I had no clue as to Yua's true identity or her goal. What could she expect from a creepy otaku like me?
おとといの。はい。
いや。
Since she started talking so suddenly, surprise had caused my voice to come out weirdly. seemed that Yua was nervous as well. Her expression was strange. It made her seem rather innocent. For an older girl, she might be unexpectedly moe. That said though, it was all I could do just to glance at her out of the corner of my eyes. Looking at her straight on shouldn't have been a big deal, but sheer embarrassment made it impossible for me.
おとといのブラチュー見ましたよね。
うん。
Just for a reminder, Burachu is the in-the-universe anime of Chaos Head.
私一箇所だけいまいちよくわからないところがあったんですけど、すすぶくんがセイラちゃんのピンチに駆けつけてきて助けてくれますよね。でもどうしてすすむくんはセイラちゃんが危ないって分かったのかなって。
あれは先週の回に伏線があったんだ。セイラの携帯が鳴ってるシーンが一瞬だけ挿入されてて、着信表示で進むの名前が出てる。
It's kind of adorable, actually, not gonna lie.
そういえばそんなシーンありましたね。
山田がそういう細かい伏線をあちこちに貼るのが好きなんだ。キンゴルでも似たようなことをやってた。
山田くキンゴル？
いや、山田くっていうのはブラチューの監督の愛称で、で山田くがブラチューの前に監督やってたアニメがキンゴル。
へえ、じゃあ山田くさんって有名な監督さんなんですね。
まあ僕は好きな方かな。なんでかっていうと、
As I lectured you on this and that about anime, we ran in front of the animate. Oh my gosh, that's still horrible fun. Wow, we got there way faster than I thought. I'd gotten so into it that I talked way too much. It was because you was good at listening. She heard me with true interest while I showed off my knowledge in all kinds of areas. That was why, even though I was aware it had to be a trap, I found myself wanting to tell her everything I knew. I was supposed to be bad at talking. This was a first for me. I could converse with her almost as if I were chatting online. What a strange sensation.
なんだかドキドキしてきました。
Give me a minute, just making sure. Doesn't hurt to save, you know? Just saying. There you go.
先に帰ったりしないでくださいね。
うん。
Her demeanor grew increasingly nervous. You asked one of the clerks about pre-ordering the post-awakening version of Sarah. I simply watched from beside her. I'd been casing the place for a chance to escape, but you kept throwing anxious looks at me, so I couldn't move an inch. Afterwards, at Yua's request, we looked around the rest of the store. An overjoyed Yua told me, no matter how much money I brought here, I wanted to buy more. But didn't have the energy to smile back at her. Apparently, Yua took the train to and from school. As a result, I had to accompany her to Shinsen train station. She seemed gentle and timid, but she was actually pretty stubborn. She couched her demands in such a way that they didn't seem at all demanding or selfish. That was dark of her. Man, Yua had to be one of those dark characters.
西条くんって携帯は持ってないんですか？
Yua abruptly asked right as we arrived at the station. Cell phone, huh? I feebly shook my head.
持ってないんですか。それじゃ連絡が取れないですね。
Come on, dude, share the email.
連絡？
What did she plan to accomplish by contacting me? Surely she didn't intend to make me email her over every little thing.
でも西条くんパソコン持ってましたよね。私も持ってるからメールアドレスを交換しませんか？
There we go.
どうして？
フィギュアの発売日に取りに行かなくちゃいけませんよね。その時にまた一緒に。まだ一人でアニメ8に行く勇気はないから。
How skillfully done.
それに
This girl was ingenious.
私、西条くんと
Even though I understood that, I couldn't refuse her. I'd feel bad if I turned her down now.
もっと
The third dimension was truly terrifying.
仲良くなりたいから。
Was it because I wasn't used to talking to people? Or because her conversation skills were just that good? Whatever the case, I didn't seem like Yua would be ready to turn until I gave her my email address. Yet she anxiously looked at me through her glasses. For some reason, it stole away my will to resist. Despite the fact that I had goosebumps covered my whole body, and chills were running down my spine, I couldn't neither run away nor reject her. There was something bizarre about Yua. This atmosphere wasn't normal. I couldn't clearly explain why it wasn't in normal words, but in any case, it was abnormal. Before I realized that I'd written down my email on a scrape of a notebook paper and handed it over to Yua. After happily accepting it, Yua nodded to me and disappeared into the station. I stood there, dazed, for a full 10 minutes, feeling as though my body has been sucked out of me. My soul has been sucked out of me. I'll just let the text speak for itself. That night, as we chatted, I tried Grimm's advice on what to do about Yua. I didn't think anything would come of it if I went around suspecting everyone and everything, all on my own. But there was his answer. There was his answer. To be fair, I had the exact same reaction the first time I spoke with Yua. Grim reacted the same way as Mizumi-kun. What if, contrary to all expectations, they were the same person? Oh, I could hear Seraton's voice. I changed my settings so that she had say the same line whenever I got a new email. Whenever I casually check out my email client, the field for the sender's name said Kusunoki Yua.
うわ、早速来た。
Hell yeah. Just open up the email. An email from a 3D girl. I never received one before. I took a gulp and opened it. I'll leave it up really there for everyone to read. The contents were completely infused with her neatness and good breeding. What? And good breeding. What does that even mean? She also used emoticons to create a sense of friendliness. But a person like, because you were there with me and I like to greet you in the morning. Wait, let me read this myself actually. It didn't bother. You can also interpret it as being part of some scheme of hers. Kita! It's normal stuff, man. Grim was being so obnoxious about that, I just decided to throw the whole thing up there. Well, I made sure to remove our personal information first, of course. You just gotta go off and die. God damn, Grim. Come, come on, Takumi. Give yourself some credit. I knew that much already, but she was such a good girl that it was actually kind of disagreeable. That that might not be so bad. No, no, no. That was exactly what she wanted me to think.
そうだけど。
If I could do that, it wouldn't be such a struggle. And there was something I learned from talking to Yua yesterday and the day before yesterday. It was enjoyable, and it made me happy. More so than that, it wore me out. And it was a huge bother. Rather than continuing to be forced to go through all that, might as well stick to 2D world, where I could live however I wanted. Which is why I didn't send a reply to Yua's mail. Oh boy, I think a new scene's coming up. It was going up in flames. Red tongue of flames danced inside an incinerator. They were burning a sailor uniform and a number of textbooks. The house was located at the foot of a mountains. From its garden, one could look out across the inland sea. The sounds of boats steamed whistles came faintly from afar, and a refreshing salty breeze softly shook the trees just beyond the house's eaves. In the midst of that tranquil airflow, only a small-statured young girl, only Orihara Kozue, standing motionless in front of the incinerator, bore about her a heavier atmosphere. Fixed intently on the sailor uniform and the textbooks transforming into flames inside the incinerator, her eyes wore a vermilion glow. They were the sailor uniform she had worn and the textbooks she had used up just until yesterday. She made no effort to move from her spot, as though she were reluctant to part with them, despite the fact that she herself had set them on fire. She abruptly knitted her eyebrows in anguish and covered her ears hard. Her mouth opened with difficulty, but nothing more happened. Neither groaning nor complaining, she simply breathed raggedly. She shook her head over and over, as if to push something away. Still covering her ears, she gradually crumpled in place. When her bottom hit the ground, she moved her chin just a little, as though exhausted, and gazed expressionlessly at the sky. She remained in that position for several minutes without so much as a twitching. But with an equal suddenness, she turned about confidently, as though she had heard someone's voice. Before her lay the house's veranda. Though it was the middle of the day, it was dim within the wood constructed, over 50-year-old house, and she couldn't see much of the veranda. Kozue shakily rose to her feet and walked up to the veranda. Her mother appeared right then, as though she had calculated the timing.
あら、小杖ちゃん、探してたのよ。もう荷物の整理はできたの？
Kozue nodded and sat down lightly on the edge of the veranda.
あさってにはもうこの家ともお別れなのね。
Standing next to her, her mother cast a look of at the serene inland sea.
東京なんて行くの梢ちゃんは初めてよね。いいお友達ができるといいわね。
Kozua neither nodded nor shook her head in response to her mother's considered words. Give me a second, just reading up. Okay. Holding her silence, she continued gazing desolately at the incinerator over in a corner of the garden, which even now went on harboring its flame. The following week, school going day, as melancholy as usual, I stared down at my feet on the way to school. It was about time for season to start changing to autumn in earnest. The trees in Shotel Park were gradually becoming colorful, and short leaves were starting to get a little chilly. Since I typically stayed indoors all the time, the changing of the seasons only perplexed me. It felt like it was supposed to be summer. I played into it all weekend. Graham kept asking me about Yua, but I ignored him from start to finish. Yua hadn't mailed me once since then. She might have finally given up. Since I didn't send a reply, that'd be a huge relief. I got all mixed up when I talked to Yua. I seemed to be on the verge of discovering some hope for myself. But there was no point in a creepy otaku like me embracing hope. I lived all this time without her, without ever once gaining a reward for anything. And so I lost interest in the third dimension. Please don't make me expect anything. Please don't expect anything of me. Someone tapped my shoulder from behind. Thinking it would be Nanami or Misumi-kun, turned around and was surprised. Yua smiled at me. Her cheeks slightly flushed. For some reason, she was out of breath.
後ろ姿が見えたからもしかしたら西条くんかなって思って走って追いかけちゃいました。
Could this possibly mean she hasn't given up yet? She still had expectations for me?
おはようございます、西条くん。
うん。
やっと言えました。土日を含めて4日もかかってしまいましたけど。あ、先週メールを送ったんですけど、読んでもらってます。
Without meaning to, I nodded reflexively.
よかった。返事がなかったからてっきり届いていないかと思って何度か送り直そうとしたんですけど、我慢しておいて正解でした。
What on earth did you expect from me? Should I fall in love with you? Should I become your boyfriend? And should we then live our lovey-dovey lives as a couple? No way. I couldn't act so wholesome. I wanted to, but it would never happen. Let me just save here. It's just a hunch. Something's gonna go wrong. Or right. Depends on the situation. Besides, I didn't understand how Yua had come to think so well of me. I couldn't have faith in her. That's what made it impossible.
西条くん、どうしたんですか？ずっと立ち止まってるので。
I hastily walked off, leaving Yua behind. But she caught up by trotting.
昨日西条くんのクラスに行ったんですけど、いませんでしたよね。もしかして風邪でもひいて休んでるんじゃないかと思って心配だったんです。でも元気そうでよかった。
たまにしか。
はい。
僕たまにしか学校来ない。みんなから引きこもりって思われてる。
Kind of are. Surely I disillusioned her. Surely knowing what I really what I was really like. She had lost all friendly thoughts towards me. I didn't mind, because I had expected anything from the start. Go on, think of me as being creepy and gross. From now on, please stay away from me.
そうですか。でも今日は会えてよかったです。
I was floored. Without thinking, I scrutinized Yui's smile intently. Our eyes met, and I was forced to hastily turn my face away. Why is it that I don't weird you out?
っていうか、たまにでも学校に来てるなら、西条くんは引きこもりじゃないと思います。すいません。分かったようなこと言っちゃって。
でも靴だよ。
だとしたら偉いです。
え
I couldn't have imagined that she would reply with such words. What could possibly be admirable about a useless human being like me? Yua smiled tenderly. I honestly thought it was a smile that could heal people.
だって西条くんは辛いのに頑張って学校に来ていますから。普通なら普通は来られないですよ。
でも僕はオタだしキモいし。
私西条くんの話を聞くの好きですよ。
This is why Yua is best girl. I keep saying this. What? What on earth was it? This affirmation of my whole being. Why did it feel so comforting? I had the feeling that Yua would be able to embrace everything about me. I had the feeling that Yua would tell me it was alright for me to be here. If I were with Yua, I might be able to go back being a regular person.
大変予礼ですよ。
Without me noticing it, our surroundings had become empty with students. Everyone was already inside the school building.
西条くん、それじゃあ私失礼します。あ、今日の放課後時間ありますか？
え？
もしよかったら一緒に帰りましょう。
She murmured shyly, blushing a bit.
放課後中庭で待ってます。もし気が向いたら来てください。あ、無理に来なくても全然平気ですから。失礼します。
Yua gave me a courteous bow and ran off towards the building where the senior classroom was located. Watching her go, I pinched my cheek again. It really wasn't a dream or delusion. I stayed in a daze during all of my classes that day. Rather, I didn't pay the least attention to what was going on in my classes. Propping my chin up with one hand, I gazed on and on at the autumn sky beyond the window. Neither my classmates nor my teachers took any heed of me. But Yua looked at me. Yua was different from the rest of these assholes. As I went on thinking along with those lines and having all sorts of daydreams, this class suddenly came to an end.
よ、タク。今日もデートか？この前のメガネのことはうまくいってるんだろうな。おいおい、ニートだからって躊躇してんなよ。向こうがお前のこと気に入ってくれてんなら、付き合うか付き合わないかはともかく、やっちまうのが礼儀。
Shut up, dude.
そんなことしないよ。
おい、なんだよいきなり大声出して。
ユアとはそんなことしない。
お前まだ言ってんの？ なんで最初から諦めるんだよ。そろそろ引きこもりから卒業しようぜ。
僕は引きこもりじゃない。
He shouldn't have said that kind of thing in the first place. Also, give me a second. Let me see if I'm... Yeah, my mic's working again. Good. I didn't understand Mizumi-kun, who lived through his nether regions. Mizumi-kun looked puzzled, but I ignored him and hurried out of the classroom. The shortest route to the courtyard involved crossing the corridor to the building where seniors' classes were held, and then going downstairs from there, probably. Since I didn't come to school that much, I wasn't very knowledgeable about which parts of the school building were connected to where. I wasn't sure where all the specialized classrooms were either. So I felt a tad insecure as I went down the corridor. A lone girl stood in the dead center of the passageway, looking out at the sky. She had a terribly severe look on her face. Despite what she was doing, she didn't have anything like a fading, waning atmosphere to her. So she was clearly getting in the way of whoever might try to pass. She didn't budge an inch. She must have heard my footsteps. I'm in a hurry, so please move out of the way. Something about her gave off the smell of one of those delinquent types. I better be careful to stay far away from her as possible, and to avoid meeting our eyes. With that in mind, I swiftly tried to skirt around behind Girl B. Shit, she was calling me. She couldn't squeeze out some money out of me, or say she didn't like the way it looked, drag me off to a delinquent hangout and have me lynched there. Give me a goddamn break. I haven't done anything wrong. When I cautiously surveyed Girl B, she glared at me.
お前誰だ？
Even if she asked me who, I'm Nishijo Takumi. Not that she had any way of knowing of my name. Of course, given that we never met before. She's planning on doing something horrible to me. No doubt about it.
すいません。
Bowing my head, so as to avoid looking at Girl B, I sprinted off at top speed. Once I dashed down the stairs from the senior building and I left outside, I checked behind the back. It seemed like the scary-looking girl from before hadn't come chasing after me. Thank God. I hated the third dimension for having traps at every turn. I looked around the courtyard as I collected my wild breathing. Sandwiched between the pool and the school building was so long and narrow that it might have been more fitting to call it a pathway. There were flower beds at regular intervals, and right now the purple flowers particularly stood out. What were those flowers called? I really didn't know. I spotted Yua standing in front of one of the flower beds, gazing idly at the flowers. She was really there. She waited for me. She waited for me and none other. Yua wouldn't betray me. Might be right for me to believe in her. Yua might be able to save me. Raising her face, Yua noticed I was there. As I watched, her eyes grew wider and wider. Embarrassed, I shifted my gaze and stood in place. I didn't know whether it was okay for me to walk up to her. Why was she surprised? Maybe I shouldn't come. As I wavered, Yui came running to me.
びっくりしました。
え？
西条くんが本当に来てくれるなんて。どうせ来てもらえないって諦めかけてたんです。でも待っててよかった。
Maybe Yua actually tended to think along much the same lines as I did, viewing everything pessimistically and so on. But one thing about us was radically different. I viewed things negatively and did nothing about it. Yua viewed things negatively, but took actions of her own accord. I honestly respected her for her abilities to be so proactive. I wanted to be more like her.
一緒にか帰ってくれますか？
I answered her hesitant question with a nod. Side by side, Yua and I headed for the main gate. Somehow, it was kind of embarrassing. I also started to have the feeling that the other students leaving school were watching us enviously. The more conscious I became of it, the jerkier it got. Going on home with a girl, just the two of us, was impossible after all. I passed by an unfamiliar teacher. Little I only assumed he was a teacher because he was wearing a suit instead of a uniform. Was there really such a young teacher around here? Since I've ever come to school, I had no memory of the teachers' faces. There were even times where I'd forgotten what my homeroom teacher looked like. Glanced around all the while. The suit-clad teacher went towards the school building.
どうしました？
Flustered, I shook my head and resumed walking at Yua's side. Though we said we could go home together, my base was only 10 minutes from school, Shinsen Station, which Yua used, was farther away. I'm sorry, the areas where the commas and the apostrophes and stuff, so weird. Anyway, which you used, was farther away. As a result, it ended up being more like me seeing her off. I would have entered Shoto Park. We could take a shortcut by cutting through here diagonally, so it only saved us a minute or so.
西条くんって朝よくこの公園でパンを食べてませんか？
How did you know?
やっぱりよく見かけたんです。でもいる時といない時があって、今日ようやくその謎が解けました。学校にたまにしか来ないからだったんですね。あ、別にそれがダメって言ってるわけじゃなくてですね。
Yeah, my bad about that. Hugh suddenly stopped and looked over the bench where I usually sat to have breakfast. It was currently empty.
なんだかここに座っているあなたの背中はすごく辛そうに見えて。
Leaning forward, Hugh sent the tip of her fingers gliding along the bench's backrest.
何度も見かけるうちにだんだん気になってきて。
This bench was set right in front of the fence around the pond. Moreover, because sitting in it meant facing the bank of the pond, I didn't have to tremble in fear of anyone's gaze. The reason I'd taken a liking to it was because the watermill nearby acted as a form of cover, keeping me from standing out.
ここ最近は姿を見かけなかった日は心配でご飯の喉を通らなかったりしてたんです。
Was that so? I had no idea she was watching me.
バカみたいですよね。一度も話したこともない人の心配してるなんて。でも話しかける勇気もなかったので。
Sorry about that. Take that to its obvious conclusion, and you end up with her initial stalker-esque behavior. Maybe it wouldn't be more accurate to say that, rather than just stalking me. She had been worrying about me and watching over me.
ちょっと座ってみてもいいですか？西条くんがどんな景色を見ていたのか。私も知りたいから。
I had no particular reason to say no. Facing the pond, I nodded. Seeing her back on top of the bench, Yua gently sat down. She straightened her back and gazed out at the pond. Very quietly and very serenely, Yua was close beside me. A tender breeze stirred her hair and made ripples on the pond. Was this what I meant to really live? There was such normal, casual scenery. We were in a casual situation. I didn't seem as if tears would start flowing out of me any moment.
ここで朝食をとるのって気持ちよさそうですよね。
Yua murmured. I did peek at the side of her face. In an eroge. This would undoubtedly be the right time to confess to her. After being bound together, the two of us would kiss and reach our good end. Depending on the circumstances, we might end up going straight to some exhibitionism.
私も今度やってみようかな。
Yua turned her head to look up at me. Unable to say anything, I dropped my gaze to her bag. As I looked through the three Garo froggy straps attached to her bag, I cursed myself for being so pathetic that I couldn't as much meet a girl's gaze. Delusion time. For this instance, let's go with a positive delusion. Wait, a second. Just now, something at the edge of my sight had nagged at me. What despite just now? Garo Froggy's the mascot character that was all the rage among high school girls? Seen it somewhere before. Where? That's right. Nanami had used one of her cell phone straps. That's all there was to it. Right. What kind of weird thoughts were going through my head? I'd gone all suspicious. How stupid. Besides, Nanami had said that girl froggies were a big fad among high school girls, so there was absolutely nothing strange about you possessing some. Yeah, that's right. That's how it was. Honestly, there were times where it sucked to be overly imaginative. No point getting cowed in but by my own delusions. Ha 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 ha.
西条くん
Still gazing up at me. Yua tilted her head. I hastily gave her a friendly smile.
それ本当に流行ってるんだなって。ゲロカエルン。
No? What was that reaction? Why has your expression become so strained? Did you say something bad just now? All I done was bring up the character called Girl Froggy. Yeah, why? Yep. Yua, who had up until now wore a soft smile, was now facing downward and made no effort to look at me. I couldn't tell what kind of expression she was making. My bad premonition wouldn't go away. The deja vu I had since the instant I saw the three girl froggies dangling from her bag. I had definitely seen these before. I seen three girl froggies in a row, somewhere before. And you became frightened when I pointed them out to her. Mistrust raised its head in me, surging up to control my heart. Should I trust you or not?
ゲロカエル西条くんも知ってるんですね。
Her voice was clearly getting shrill.
本当に大人気ですよね。私もあんまり可愛いとは思わなかったりするんですけど、何人かの友達からもらっちゃって気がついたら3つになってまして。
The more Yua spoke, the more unnatural she started to sound. She didn't look at me and try to smile. Though she had spoken to me so kindly so calmly just a little earlier. I felt hollow. I told her in my heart that she didn't need to say anything more.
見せてあげましょうか。
Reaching over to a bag, Yua began to remove the girl froggies that were fastened there.
ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Her hands were shaking minutely. Perhaps she was such a hurry. In such a hurry, she had trouble taking the straps off.
変だな。どうして外れないんでしょう。絡まっちゃってるのかな。
When Yua tried to forcibly pull the straps away, her bag fell off the bench because the fasteners were closed. Notebooks and textbooks came tumbling out from inside it.
私ったら何をやってるんでしょう。
If it were several minutes earlier, I might have mowed over Yua's clumsy side. Then all I could do was to freeze in place because a single notebook had by chance opened up, and as it hit the ground, from within it poured memos and newspaper clippings in the lake. It seemed some kind of scrapbook. The memos, the clippings, everything in it had to do with several series of incidents. I saw it clearly. New
な
Gen.
んて
My voice was hoarse. Yua feverishly gathered the scattered memos and clippings and shoved them back in her bag. Yua rose, hugging her bag to her chest. Her smile from before had completely vanished, and she hung her head uncomfortably.
それは
Yua didn't answer. Why don't you answer? Answer me! Say something to me! If you don't say something, anything, won't I start thinking you might be feeling guilty? Even though I started believing you, even though I started to think that maybe you would be my ally.
誰も信じちゃダメ。誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ。
Sarah's been right all along. Or right after all. 3D girls were the worst. Each and every one of them. Even Yua hadn't felt this kindly. Even Yua hadn't felt kindly toward me or anything. She only approached me with some goal in mind. Perhaps she was meant to hand me over to the police. Perhaps she meant to threaten me. This sucks. This fucking sucks. Even though I started to forget all about the incident. Even though since the police hadn't shown any signs of coming to me to talk about it, I made myself think I would get by without having anything to do with it. Even though I hadn't wanted to get wrapped up in it. What the hell did Yua want from me? In any case, I turned on my heel wanting to flee. But Yua grabbed my wrist from behind
逃
me.
げるの？
Her voice made my blood run cold. A voice so chilly that my spine seemed about to freeze. I couldn't hardly think of her as being the same Yua as before. Now on top of that, Yua's grip on my wrist was abnormally powerful. She gripped it so tight that the pain shot from me. Such a violent pain that it was enough to make me wonder if she would clench me to bits, all the way down to my bones. I tried to shake her off, but she wouldn't let go. On the contrary, she pulled me closer, making me pinch backwards.
逃げるの？
She whispered from behind me. More so than that, right before my ear, sounding all as though all emotions had died in her. Shuddering, I timidly turned around. The color residing in the depths of her glaring was insane.
逃がさないよ。騙してたことは謝るけど、お互い様だし。あなただって隠してたことあるよね。
I hid something. I could only come up with one thing. Somehow, some way, this girl knew I'd witnessed the corpse and the perpetrator of the staking murder, and that was why she had approached me. She was ingenious after all. This meant every single thing she told me had been a lie. The fact that she'd been concerned about me since the first time she saw me, and the fact that she said she liked Burachu. And the fact that she promised to go together with me to pick up the post-awakening Sarah figure on the day it was released. And the fact that she smiled and nodded as though she was having fun listening to what I was telling her. And the fact that she said she wanted to become better friends with me. And the fact that she got so worried about me that I didn't come to school. And the fact that she's been nice enough to call me admirable. All of it has just been her saying whatever came to the top of her head. I clenched my fist in frustration and grief. Fuck. Why did I try so hard to believe in someone like her?
本当はもっと時間をかけて調べたかったんだけど、バレちゃったからしょうがないよね。あなたに聞いてもらいたい話があるの。聞いてくれるよね。聞かないなんて言わないよね。あなたは聞くべきよ。聞いて。聞くでしょ。聞かないなら。
If I don't listen, what? She was a different person from the Yua I had known up to now. Her gentle, calm atmosphere had vanished. Now I sensed an unapproachable atmosphere and an indescribable tenacity. Her tone was absolute in self-possession. No, cool-headedness might be a better way to put it. Her usual frailty was nowhere to be found. No, I don't want to listen. I tried to cover my ears. I couldn't do it. You had captured one of my hands. She wasn't gripping as hard as before, but she showed no sign of letting me go. She wouldn't let my hand move freely, still holding onto me. She reached inside her bag and slowly, deliberately pulled out something that shone dully. She held it out towards me. I was stunned. My heartbeat leapt higher. I couldn't stay calm. I was so shocked that I lowered that one hand covering my ear. That was when accusatory voice reached my ears.
この十字架に見覚えあるよね。
Of course I recognized it. I soon saw what it was. It resembled a cross, but it was true as a stake. One didn't often see stakes with such a distinctive shape. At the very least, I had only seen them once before. That night. Wow, that was quick. Okay.
知ってるの。知ってるんでしょ。知ってるに決まってる。知らないなんて言わせない。知ってなくちゃおかしい。知ってるよね。知ってるよね。
I desperately shook my head. Greasy sweat stood on my forehead. All I could do for the time being, as I wiped it, was shake my head from side to side.
これ、あなたの部屋にあったのよ。あなたの部屋、ベッドの下、床に落ちてた。落ちてたの。落としたよね。それとも捨てた？とにかく落ちてた。落ちてたの。
You bitch. When the hell did she investigate my room? On the first day we met? When I hurt my foot, she helped me up to my room. But when she seen my figure with Seraton, and her face had been shining, and she called it cute?
この杭、外国製のすごく珍しい杭なのよ。それと、ニュージェネ第3の事件で使われた杭と同じ。同じなの。同じよね。同じなのは間違いない。同じよ。遺体を壁に貼り付けにした杭と同じ。
I was positive of it. She suspected me of being a new gen perpetrator. She convinced herself I was the murderer. Did she think she was some kind of detective? The high school girl detective Kusunoki Yua? Or something like that? Go die. I mean it. You deserve to die. You might have worked in an anime or a game. But Yua's reasoning was fatally mistaken. I knew to kill her. I'd seen her with my own eyes. That demon. She was a girl whose name I didn't know, but she had worn the Suimei uniform. The culprit was someone very near to me.
だから
Yua lowered her head and let out a small breath. Her grip on my wrist weakened, and at last she released me.
それ以上でもそれ以下でもないです。ただあなたが知ってるかどうかを確かめたかっただけ。本当はまだ言うつもりじゃなかったですし。
What the hell was yet supposed to mean here?
それじゃあもう一つ確認させてください。あなたには予知能力がありますか？
I think I can click on that. Can I?
は
Precognitive powers. I think there's a tip list for that one. Oh yeah, it's in Japanese, I think, so literally no point. Yeah, there's no point. I can't read that. I thinkably let my mouth fall open. Precognitive powers? What the heck was that? Why did it have to do with this incident? With the incident? As I wrecked my brain, Yua plunged a hand into her bag and pulled out a piece of paper with a full-colored image printed on
予
it.
知能力があるって思わなきゃ納得できないような画像データをあなたが持っていたから。
The Guru picture Shogun had sent me. Why did Yua have it?
これ
あなたはどうしてニュージェネ第3の事件の再現画像を持っているんですか？しかもこの画像が流出したのは事件の前日です。あなたの使った PC にキャッシュが残ってました。
違う
I got this image from the guy called Shogun, who I chatted with for the first time that day. I didn't make it myself. The fact that I downloaded should still be recorded in my browser history, of course. I showed that to Yua. Hold on. How had Yua got her hand on the image in the first place? How'd she know it was left in my computer cache? The first time she came in my room, she could not possibly have had any time to check my
ま
PC.
さか君が将軍か
She was trying to set me up? Yua planned it out. And she too was one of the new gem criminals. And she intended to use me as a scapegoat to mislead the police investigation?
助けて
This was too much for me. Why me? Because I was gross? Because I didn't have any friends? Yua said nothing. Only shook her head a little.
その画像はアットカフェルーム37の PC から拾ったんです。あなたの PC もできれば調べたかったんですけどその機会はさすがにありませんでした。
Room 37. The room I always used. The bitch totally thought she was some kind of detective. Yua looked at me with a faint trace of apology in her face. I felt that she returned to the usual Yua for a moment. So wearing that expression, she began fishing around inside her bag again. This time she brought up a printout and pushed it at me. I had a bad feeling about this. My reason warned me that it would be better not to look. I had no choice but to look. I'd be falsely accused if I didn't find some way to resist.
それがあなたのすべてです。
My everything. Could she have stolen all my personal information? Was Yua a hacker? Heart pounding, I unfolded the printout. Contrary to my expectation, though, rather than my personal information, what was printed out there was like a backlog of online chat.
Huh.
The participants in the chat were Nightheart and Shogun.
そのログ変ですよね。
え
What's so strange about it? It was a normal log. I certainly remember having this kind of conversation with Shogun.
ナイト・ハルトと将軍の発言時間が全然噛み合ってないんです。
「
What the hell?
あ、
What was this? Why had it ended up like why had it ended up like this?
そこにあるナイトハルトは西条区。発言時間は9月28日の午前3時だ。そして翌日、あなたはアットカフェに行ってます。西条くんがアットカフェに行くのは学校帰りと決まってる。そして学校に行くのは週に 2.5 回。あなたのクラスメイトから聞いたんですけど、先週あなたが学校に来た日は月曜日、水曜日、木曜日。先週の月曜日は9月29日。将軍の発言時間と同じ日です。
What? What? What's she saying?
ルーム37の PC のチャットログを調べさせてもらいました。そこから分かったことは、
Yua briefly cut herself off. Then finally catching my gaze straight on, she gave voice to the relentless truth.
あなた一人の自作自演。
Don't look at me.
将軍は
Don't look at me.
あなた自身。
何も見たくない。何も聞きたくない。時間は一定じゃない。記憶には矛盾がある。視界にはエラーがある。地球は回ってない。これはきっとゲームなんだ。
And with that, I think we're gonna end up there. Yeah, I'm sorry that this was relatively shorter, but otherwise, yeah. Had I had more time, this would be a lot longer of a stream, maybe an additional hour. But for now, I say this is a good cutoff point for now. I guess that raises the question of when I'm gonna stream again. Frankly, I'm not too sure. With school as it is right now, it's hard to say. But I'm gonna try my best to be a little consistent on streaming more often. So for now, this is where I'm gonna cut it off. So for anyone coming, thanks for being here and essentially watching some weeb playing visual novels now. Huh? But yeah, jokes aside, thanks for coming. See you guys.